As Vicente and his son Yen face a difficult circumstance in a little Spanish town, surprising events occur. Vicente hides bottles in his jacket in a supermarket shop. Ian utilizes his unique skill to create illusions outside to hide the robbery from the clerk. Ian keeps the disguise while he hunts for their truck as Vicente leaves the store with a little purchase. But a bunch of ladies walking by mock Ian, making him lose focus and abandon the illusion. Back in the store, the clerk finds the missing bottles and desperately grabs a hammer to confront Vicente. Ian fakes having a gun to protect his father. Ian accidentally shoots the cashier as the scene escalates. Ian is confused when the wounded woman falls and her memories flash before him. Vicente rushes Ian inside their truck as police sirens approach. Unexpectedly, the police officer finds the injured woman's wound gone. Police chase Vicente as he flees. Ian temporarily escapes the police by using a car mirror. Ian risks attracting unwelcome attention without explaining who they are, so Vicente warns him. The illusion fades, allowing the police to catch up and resume the chase. Ian and his father argue, with Ian failing to see why they shouldn't use his skills to get rich. Vicente stubbornly avoids attention. At the beach, Ian creates a stunning illusion that fools the police into thinking they're in a hailstorm. Police cars flip and hit gas stations due to the illusion. Dr. Adriana discovers the incident after security cameras record it. Ian and Vicente hide on an abandoned ship the next morning. Ian is very uneasy after a dream about his dead mother. Vicente makes Ian a birthday breakfast and shows him a photo of his mother when he discovered his skills. Ian wants a typical teenage birthday and wants to go to the arcade, but Vicente forbids it. Ian flees through his window after hitting a training dummy. The Perceiver, a supernatural being, notices the police officer talking to a bartender about the hailstorm. The Perceiver disables the cop. After a special crew surrounds the ship, Adriana, claiming to be from the agency, approaches Vicente. She uses violence to get Ian to talk. However, a word from other agents about Ian's location changes the situation. The Perceiver and two agents seek for Ian at the arcade. After defeating one agent, the Perceiver uses a disguised radio to alert Adriana about another Perceiver in the area. Adriana quickly alerts her agents, prioritizing the Perceiver hunt. Ian hides behind a table as the last agency agent shoots him. The Perceiver rejects the attack as an illusion. The Perceiver confuses the agent, but a fellow agency agent blocks his powers with a helmet. The Perceiver throws the agent away and fights him in a dark area. He defeats the agent by throwing him over a wall. In front of more agents, the Perceiver confidently handles them. He destroys the team without regard for the virtual reality gamers around. After the agents are immobilized, the Perceiver removes the helmet and searches for Ian. Ian is led outside by Esther and another agent. Adriana, who awaits him in a van, tells Ian that more individuals have his skills. They convince Ian to join them by revealing they've captured his father, Vicente. Once he enters the van, they quickly tie him up, put a helmet on him, and take a blood sample. The van is gone when the Perceiver arrives. The Perceiver creates a stroller illusion on the street, causing a truck to halt and crash. Adriana tells the van driver to keep going. Ian awakens in the agency facility, where Adriana recounts their history. The agency opposes the Conscience, a group with Ian-like talents. The Conscience has manipulated power for years, regardless of any party, keeping the country unchanged. The agency seeks to overthrow the Conscience and restore democracy. Adriana proposes Ian cooperate with her because the Perceiver will either want him to join or kill him. She's interested in Ian's blood formula, which could impede the enemy's powers. Adriana then challenges Ian to build an illusion. Ian initially struggles but learns that powerful emotions affect his powers. Ian builds the image Adriana requested, a vast beach with an annoying fly with a photo of his mother, and chats about his turbulent childhood. Adriana asks Ian to bring her back to reality while keeping the fly in a loop or perpetual illusion. Ian breaks the illusion and wants his father. Adriana lets Ian visit Vicente, who warns him the agency will experiment on him. Adriana says Ian can access his father's memories. Ian sees Vicente as a young agency employee in his head. A startling alarm distracts the workers, so Vicente kidnaps Ian. Adriana tries to stop him, but Vicente escapes. Vicente faints once Ian releases him, understanding he is not his father. Adriana verifies this and suggests Ian's mother may be alive. Adriana then shows the blood test findings to an American who wants to know how Ian got his skills. Adriana reveals that Ian acquired his powers from his parents, which was previously thought impossible since perceivers were sterile. Ian is the firstborn with such powers. The American instructs Adriana to recover the formula and kill Ian, but she resists, citing Ian's ability to awaken a third power and be their only protection against the fabled mule. American doubts Mule's existence. After testing Ian, a doctor grins at his 204% neuron factor. Esther calls Ian a lab rat in his room and offers him an escape plan. They descend but are encircled by guards. The agents are easily incapacitated by Esther's baton, taser, and combat skills. The couple escapes once all the agents are unconscious in minutes. Ian insists on taking Vicente because he thinks his father knows the answers. Adriana detects their escape and sets off an alarm while searching for a car. Ian drives away while arguing with Vicente about his prior deceptions as agents rush outside and open fire. The doctor who reviewed Ian's test findings suddenly grabs a gun and kills everyone in the lab before checking security cameras, identifying himself as the perceiver. Ian redirects the guard's fire as he leaves. Ian's irresponsible driving causes the automobile to crash on a steep road. Ian tries to utilize his powers to make the perceiver think nothing is there when he comes moments later. The perceiver smiles before leaving. The group hides in a motel to avoid their pursuit. The next morning, Ian and Esther spend time on the rooftop before returning to the room to find Vicente unconscious from booze. Ian revisits his father's recollections to find the truth. Ian remembers Adriana holding patient Kaminsky, who was set for transportation to Poland. She also examined a van outside and said the formula will be injected that night. Ian's exploration is interrupted by a masked man behind the van's driver, who is missing 3 fingers. Ian loses his mind after this horrific revelation. Moments later, he goes to a bank and gives the cashier a random piece of paper, pretending it's a check. The clerk gives him the money, but she calls for security after uncovering the deceit. Ian finds Esther, and they leave quickly enough to avoid capture. Esther plays about with the cash in their motel room before showering. Ian is greatly worried about Vicente's absence. When he hears a car outside, he tells Esther to hide and build an illusion. Illusions do not affect reflective surfaces. Therefore, the perceiver initially sees an empty room, but soon discovers a mirror. Ian and the perceiver fight bitterly as illusions shift. Ian uses Esther's taser and a chair to fight, but he fails. They battle until the perceiver knocks Ian against the wall and reads his memories. Ian went to the bank to get money to travel to Poland to find the experimenter. Ian leaves after the perceiver drops him. Ian dreams of his mother again until Vicente wakes him up and chastises him for the bank robbery, which has made headlines in the city. Ian accuses Vicente of lying and refuses to call him dad. Vicente gives him 2 options: continue down a path that will hurt him or leave with him. Ian decides to visit Poland alone. Adriana and the American check the stolen currency serial numbers and find Ian bought train tickets. After arriving in Poland, Ian and Esther immediately hunt for the lab. The perceiver kills nearby operatives with a few precise bullets. Ian recognizes the chamber from his nightmares as the trio finds the lab in an abandoned building. However, he thinks it should be bigger and taps the walls until he hears a hollow sound. A hidden area containing cabinets and records is revealed after Ian bursts through the wall. A notepad labeled Project Awareness and a portrait of his mother call up memories of their time together. Esther studies the back of the photo to learn that Ian's grandfather, who exploited his daughter for the experiments, is the scientist. As Vicente returns to his ship, Adriana unexpectedly visits and encourages him to stop drinking and become a father. Ian in Poland makes a crucial discovery concerning their mission. Ian learns that Esther has brought the perceiver inside to help him find answers in the last scene. Ian remains doubtful and pulls a gun, which the perceiver perceives as an illusion, and walks through it. The perceiver finds Morion replicas as he searches the area, becoming enveloped by illusions. Since they're all lies, he asks Esther to identify Ian. With his rifle, the perceiver confronts Ian and reveals he is his father. A scientist injected his solution into volunteers, including his daughter and the perceiver, during the Cold War. They became spies with superminds after this experiment. Fearing the spies would assist other nations after the war, the authorities killed them one by one. Before the mule, the most powerful perceiver appeared. Their prospects looked bleak. When they tried to kill the mule, he revealed his third power, mind control. His skill permitted him to influence his enemies into killing each other or committing suicide. The mule assembled the survivors and created the conscience, educating them to hide their powers and live normally. He was nicknamed the Mule since all perceivers were meant to be infertile. Since Ian's mother and the perceiver believed they were sterile, they didn't utilize protection, resulting in her miracle pregnancy. Ian is the sole natural perceiver. As operatives infiltrate the building, the perceiver orders Esther to take Ian to his Madrid home. Esther easily destroys agents with their weapons in seconds. When they reach the roof, Esther jumps and lands well. After hesitation, Ian slides down a tunnel and flees with Esther when additional agents arrive. Meanwhile, the agency's lab holds the perceiver. After a robot obtains a blood sample, they use a machine to investigate his physiology, causing terrible discomfort. Adriana must stop the experiment because it could kill the perceiver, according to the American. Adriana ignores the American's orders, but the perceiver's agony is too much, so she stops the process. Adriana receives bad news from a scientist. The formula is too diluted in the perceiver's body to recover. Adriana informs the American that Ian is their only hope. When recovering, the perceiver requests water. The perceiver uses his third power to manipulate the technician's mind and activate the robot's weapons when the robot gives him a glass. It kills all the scientists and agents watching him. The perceiver forces the technician to release him. Esther and Ian arrive at the perceiver's mansion in Madrid, where the housekeeper surprises them by revealing that Ian's mother is alive but catatonic from the experiments. Ian is approached by the perceiver, who tells him his mother is still alive and has a small part of her mind. Ian explores her memories, causing her body to shake. The perceiver joins them and shows Ian his mother's horrific agency torture. Before being captured, she created a memory in Ian's mind to give him access to the formula, signified by the toys. The perceiver wants the formula to generate powerful people. When he approaches the toys, an unseen barrier blocks him. Ian discovers that his mother doesn't want anyone to utilize the formula, and the perceiver's attempts to break through hurt her. This severe ache erases everyone from her consciousness. Ian actually sings his childhood song to his dying mother. While surrounding the residence, agents burst into the room. In grief over losing his mother, Ian unlocks his third power. He commands the agents to incapacitate each other in seconds with this new power. He then finds other agents and manipulates them into killing each other. Ian dismisses Esther's fears with a terrifying smirk. Adriana and the frightened agents reunite outdoors. Ian chases them and forces them to kneel with self-destructing firearms. Vicente suddenly intervenes to warn Ian against the perceiver's tricks. He advises Ian about committing a bloodbath he'll regret. The perceiver throws a gun on the floor and orders Ian to shoot Vicente, but Ian wants revenge on the agency. Vicente challenges the perceiver for naming Ian his father without parenting him. Ian is shocked and releases control of the group when the perceiver shoots Vicente. He rushes to check on Vicente while the perceiver kidnaps Esther and flees. Vicente begs Ian to enter his head with his last power, knowing he won't survive. The memory shows Ian's mother pleading with Vicente to take the baby to protect him. Ian apologizes to Vicente and calls him Dad. They hug and watch a favorite fishing memory. Vicente dies when his body gives in. Ian takes a rifle and searches for the perceiver at a nearby party after Vicente's death. Ian utilizes his skills to knock partygoers out, guided by Esther's voice. This shows the perceiver holding Esther at gunpoint. Ian and the perceiver fight mentally over the rifle. Ian wins despite not mastering his third power. However, the perceiver controls the crowd, forcing them to attack Ian. Ian uses a tray as a shield, but desperation forces him to use the third power. The attackers are easier to defeat with a few bottles because to his improved mastery, the final attacker is powerful and nearly strangles Ian. Adriana shoots the attacker in the head in time. Ian begs the perceiver not to hurt Esther, but Adriana says no one else is there, indicating a loop in Ian's mind. As Ian examines his recollections, he finds that he did everything Esther did, and that the perceiver placed the loop in his mind when he met him in the arcade. Ian panics and shoots Esther, but the bullet kills the perceiver instead of her. Esther runs to Ian and hugs him. Later, Ian organizes for his mother and Vicente's graveyard burial. Adriana visits their graves and begs Ian to choose a side, pleading for the formula. However, Ian refuses to fight and leaves with Esther to start again. Ian looks at Adriana talking to the American as they leave. The man doesn't appear in the truck's mirror, suggesting Adriana has a mental loop. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.